This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hey guys, Jay here. Welcome to Models Memories Weekly, episode 135. Models Memories is a show about nothing and it's filmed in front of a live studio audience. This is a show where I talk about my painting, modeling, and wargaming experiences from the week. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Jay, you put out 3 YouTube videos a week. How? Could I possibly have more to say? Well, I do, and here goes. This week, Games Workshop came out with a bunch of new squat models that make the range of Leagues of Votann look even smaller. They made the most hilarious gift box ever, and there's a Space Marine missing. But first, do you need a website but you don't know where to start? Do you find squares intimidating? Well, have no fear, Squarespace is here. Squarespace allows anyone to break into website design with easy-to-use features and professional support from start to finish. Choose from one of their dozens of award-winning templates and get started on a website you can truly call your own. With easy-to-use and intuitive tools like their patented Fluid Engine system, drag and drop, and automatic scaling, website design has never been easier. And if selling your unique merchandise is your goal, Squarespace is set up to make that a breeze. Whether your products are physical, service-based, or digital, selling your unique merch is easier than ever with Squarespace. Squarespace offers a free trial for you to dip your feet into and test the waters. When you're ready to dive in headfirst, you can use our link in the description below or type in squarespace.com/EonsOfBattle to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Cross the ash wastes in short order with the Scalvian Explorator for the Ironhead Squat Prospectors. New miniatures for the Necromunda Squats. The Necromunda Squats are phenomenal, and with a new gigantic vehicle, Necromunda is getting dangerously close to just a different flavor of Warhammer 40k. It's not nearly as bad as 30k, where 30k is literally 40k just with some very, very slight tweaks, but Ash Wastes is really cool. I saw some people playing it at Adepticon, and it does look like a lot of fun to play little Necromunda on these big boards with these larger vehicles. But man, these miniatures are absolutely gorgeous and kind of harken back to the original squat designs for like the squats that existed in 1st and 2nd edition Warhammer 40k. These models are absolutely glorious. When I first saw them, I got really excited for new Leagues of Votann models, which are not happening, but kind of desperately need to happen. The Leagues of Votann range is absolutely tiny, and there's some like very obvious stuff missing from the range. We need jetpack Harkonnen warriors. We need the idol of the Votann, which is like a giant robotic version of the Votann, because in the codex, it says that sometimes the Votann will take the form of giant robots and get onto the battlefield and actually do some damage. And that sounds so incredibly cool and will one day be like the flagship centerpiece of a Leagues of Votann army, but it doesn't currently exist. But Necromunda Squats do. And oh, I love this vehicle. Big, expensive Forge World tracked vehicles are my jam. I love the ball head, the giant tracks. It looks like an effective mining vehicle. It's got a little robot arm. It's got spots for the squats to actually stand on. I love the colors, the light colors with just the dirt and like the verdigris or the rust in all of the little cracks and crevices looks absolutely phenomenal. And it would slot right into a Leagues of Votann army perfectly. It would not look out of place. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love like the shock absorbing arms attached to the actual tracks. It's such a great looking vehicle, and like 11 people are gonna buy this because it's an incredibly expensive Forge World only Ash Wasteland piece for the squats. It's the most specific thing ever, and it's really too bad that they I don't want to say they wasted their design team making this when there's other things that like need a little bit more help, but I don't understand exactly how Forge World exists. How do they decide what miniatures to actually make? They don't really make. Forge World used to make the really cool, interesting, and weird stuff for Warhammer 40k that would have rules, but barely, and the rules would be kind of hit or miss. Sometimes they would be super awful. Sometimes they'd be wildly overpowerful, but when you sat down to play a game of Warhammer 40k, you'd kind of decide, is this gonna be a open to anything Forge World included models game, or are we playing real 40k here? And it kind of feels like sometimes that's how Forge World still operates. Like this, it takes a lot of money to actually have a miniature produced, and probably even more money if it's going to be a gigantic resin tank. And so I wonder, how do they make the decision, like, do we invest all of this time, energy, and resources into a 30k unit, or do we invest it all into Necromunda Ash Wastes? I don't know, it's hard to say, but along with this humongous tank, there are some absolutely breathtaking and chubby squat models, and I absolutely love them. 2 exclusive hired guns, Orin and Urson Grimjarl. Like the Yumgarl Gene Stealers. Oh, these guys are super rad. I love their little robot friends, and they have 2 different flavors of robot friends. One of them has little wheelie RC car wheels, and then the other one is a floaty fly guy. I really like that he has DeWalt brand power drills as one of his weapons. Like, Games Workshop often does like the classic like unicorn horn drill, like fantasy drill that doesn't exist in real life. But these are just normal drill bits. Like, I have them in my garage. They look absolutely phenomenal. I love his Sherlock Holmes pipe. I love his giant Tesla coil gun, absolutely covered in wires. I love that he has a beard, but then he also has like a beard made out of tubes that are coming from the neck hole of his spacesuit and go into the body of his spacesuit. These models are absolutely phenomenal. And then the second one with his cowboy space repeater. These are some of the most fun models that Games Workshop makes. I always say that about Necromunda stuff because it's always just so fun and weird and wacky. And 40k is also weird and wacky, but I feel like it very often doesn't get as far as Necromunda does in the weirdness. There's no Gene Stealer cult unit that has a DeWalt power drill just in one of its many arms. These guys are absolutely phenomenal. I already have Necromunda stuff. I bought an Escher army. I have some Forge World Escher stuff. I need to do that before I really look too hard into anything else for Necromunda, but man, some of these Ash Waste kits are absolutely glorious. And if Games Workshop maybe just wanted to let Leagues of Votann players have a little access to more stuff, maybe just take the Necromunda Squat stuff and just port it directly into the Leagues of Votann. It's kind of an okay thing to do. I mean, if you play Adeptus Custodes, you bring Forge World units because you have no models in your range, and so you just need to use some of the Forge World stuff. I feel like it would be okay to do that for the Necromunda squats, for Leagues of Votann. The squat exo mining suit is glorious, and the squats don't have a dreadnought type unit yet. Just port that sucker right into the game and let them have it. It looks great. I don't know which of these hired guns I like more, Cowboy Repeater guy or DeWalt Drill guy. They're both super excellent. Oh my gosh, and they both have Sherlock Holmes pipes. I just noticed that. These guys are pretty cool. But you know what else is pretty cool? Celebrating 40 years of Warhammer with an exclusive box of goodies. I saw this on the Warhammer community page, and I thought it might come with some cool stuff. Games Workshop has been very hit or miss with their swag. And swag stuff is usually very much like in the eye of the beholder, where some people are like, I love Funko Pops, and other people are like, you're literally making landfill material. But I kept an open mind. Like, let's look at what comes in this 40 years of Warhammer box. And boy, oh boy, is it pretty lame. You get 6 super unique, never to be seen again, exclusive art print swag thingies. I'll grant them this, the poster is okay. I could see this poster hanging on the wall in like a Walmart. You know, in Walmarts, when they have that rack of posters and it's like 20 posters and you kind of just leaf through them until you find one that you like. I could see this poster living there for like $6.99. In a Walmart, but it's clearly just a bunch of existing art that has been photoshopped together and then color corrected so that they almost match each other. The poster is okay. Very, very small because it actually has to fit in the box that they're shipping to you, so that's a little bit of a problem, but the t-shirts, I get what they were going for with the retro Beaky and the retro Warhammer guy on there. I feel like just the art is kind of bad. It kind of looks AI generated in that the elements don't match each other. The Space Marine helmet is very smooth and clean, and then the Warhammer guy is kind of very comic booky and gritty. And the presentation of it is just weird. I don't know. It's an exclusive t-shirt that you'll never be able to get again, and I feel like it's okay that you'll never be able to get it. And then the next three things, the super cool notebook with just literally a picture of a Space Marine and a picture of a Stormcast Eternal that have literally in Photoshop, it's like one click to turn the layer, like to invert the color selection and just make them black and white. Literally could whip that up for you in Photoshop in probably 7 clicks to make this exact piece of art, including downloading the 2 images to actually modify. Definitely a super exclusive print there. And then the mugs, never to be seen again. It's literally the 2nd edition and 8th edition codex covers or army book covers for the Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar. Like, that's not exclusive art, it's existing art. I guess it's probably never been on a mug before, but I don't know. If I scrub through like all of Warhammer 40k 8th edition, I bet I could find this image on a mug being sold by Games Workshop at some point. Oh, and the stickers. You get a sticker pack. I'm a sucker for a good sticker pack. This is not a good sticker pack. I'm really ragging on it. And this box is very unoffensive, and it was just literally whipped together. Games Workshop sent one email that says, can you make us a Warhammer 40k 40th year anniversary box? And that was literally the beginning and the end of it. But it's just dumb. It's just dumb, and I wanted to rag on it a little bit. This sticker pack is super lame. Once again, I could make these stickers for you. If Games Workshop gave me just a couple of assets, I could make these stickers in 5 minutes, and I'm not that good at Photoshop. Needs more skulls, more Nuln Oil, Sigmar, Wah. Like, there's more memes. If Games Workshop, if this sticker pack had the crab, the Warcry crab, then you'd really have something there. You'd have something exclusive, something that people would actually want. Maybe a sticker that's making fun of how the crab actually won Model of the Year, but they swapped it with Be'lakor because they couldn't have something stupid win. Then you'd actually have something exclusive and something kind of funny that people might actually want. But who's just putting a little black and white sticker of an Imperial Eagle on their iPad? Like, who would do that? I guess the only thing in this box that's kind of worthwhile is the hoodie, because it looks like a perfectly good hoodie. And then on the back of it, not the front for some reason, you get the Emperor on his golden throne, a very classic and cool piece of art that other people are gonna get to look at when you're standing in line at the bank. I don't get art on the back of hoodies. Like, I want it on the front so I can just kind of take a peek at it and admire it. Or, see it in the mirror when I'm like washing my hands in a public restroom. Like, those are the moments where you get to actually enjoy a graphic tee. I don't get putting it on the back. And then having the little Warhammer TV logo in the corner just makes me feel like an employee. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the Warhammer 40k 40 Years of Warhammer box. Is it everything you ever dreamed of? Or is it just full of nonsense junk? It's full of nonsense junk. Games Workshop has made some decent swag. I kind of liked the coasters. I kind of liked the desk mat, the neoprene desk mat with the different factions on it. That was kind of cool. The stamps. But man, this box is just full of trash. But speaking of things that are not trash, new army box for Warhammer, the Horus Heresy, and it is Mark III Marines, and a Daredeo Dreadnought there, guy. Oh, da Daredeo Dreadnought. It's a really fun name to say. And I just finished my Daredeo Dreadnought, and I was super excited to use it, and now it technically is not playable in Warhammer 40k. Technically, there are rules for it for 40k in Legends of the Heresy Index, which is fine. Everything is pretty up to date right now, so it actually would be fine to take it in games like currently. But if Games Workshop is true to their word that they're not going to update any of the old out of print stuff, then the rules are gonna get farther and farther from competitive. Although I feel like this has happened every single time Games Workshop has had a big shakeup with the rules, that anything we don't currently make is going to Legends and we're never going to support Legends ever again. And yet they always do it. They always go back and they make rules for every single model they've ever made. And then they say, from now on, we're never ever going to touch them again. Because I remember 8th edition and the big switch up to Warhammer 40k. They're like, we're never touching any of these units again. And yet for 10th edition Warhammer, Imperial Space Marine that never should have had rules in the first place still has 10th edition compatible rules. So I don't think you have to worry that much. But Mark III Marines. These guys are pretty awesome. I know a bunch of people were kind of upset by Mark V Space Marines being kind of the armor mark for Horus Heresy, when in theory, in the lore, Mark V should have been a little bit more rare. Although I think a lot of people miss that these legions were like 100 to 200,000 Space Marines, even bigger for some factions like the Dark Angels in certain time periods of the Horus Heresy or of the legions. So I don't think it's super unreasonable that this armor is kind of rare, but your 20 guys are wearing it out of 200,000 Space Marines. But I really do like the Mark III armor. It is new Mark III. Games Workshop actually made back in like 6th edition or in like 2017, when they started to do a really good job with Horus Heresy, they actually made a plastic Mark III box, which I bought several of to kit bash into 40k Tactical Marines, and they were excellent. And these guys are excellent-er. I really like them, and I'm definitely not getting into Horus Heresy. I have too many games. I have far too many games to spend to make another attempt at playing a different flavor of Warhammer 40k. But I do want a box of these new Mark III Marines to kit bash and convert into Death Guard, because Death Guard wear Mark III. Like if you really look at their weird bloated bodies of the Plague Marines, they're all wearing like Mark III, and some of them are in Mark II armor. And so I would love to get a box of these guys and just green stuff the heck out of them and turn them into slightly less like Nurgle-ified Nurgle Plague Marines. And it'll just come with the appropriate number of models, which is 10, as opposed to 7, which for the longest time, Games Workshop forgot there was 7 in a box. And so they had units locked to 5 and 10, where people had boxes of 7 of them. But the Mark IIIs are really cool. This box looks pretty good. I love the Daredeo Dreadnought. I love the Legion Land Raider and a bunch of Mark III Marines. This is going to be a great box for those factions that should be in the Mark III, although technically all armor marks were worn by all chapters. Really, I think they need to make a Mark VI, or which one's the Heresy pattern? Is Mark IV, Mark V, Mark VI? Oh wait, Mark VI is Beakies, Mark V is Heresy. Sometimes I get the armor marks a little bit confused, but I think they really do need to make the Mark V Heresy pattern armor, which is just all of the armor marks kind of cobbled together with a weird Stormtrooper style helmets. Because that one, it existed in resin for a couple of years, and it's always been the ugliest armor mark, but it's probably the most flavorful mark of armor because it is the Horus Heresy pattern armor designed to take advantage of not being able to manufacture new suits of Space Marine armor. So if Mark III is very good, but they also need to make Mark V if they want to do Horus Heresy perfectly. One thing I was surprised that we didn't see from Games Workshop this week during the big grand reveals is there is one singular Space Marine that is missing that they showed off. They showed off a multi-part captain in Terminator armor, and it looked pretty darn good. Pretty exciting little miniature. It'd be nice to have that. And you currently cannot buy it, and there's no word on when this model is going to be made available. And so it's just kind of missing. Scouts were initially missing from the Space Marine reveals, but then eventually they showed up in Kill Team because Games Workshop just needed to hold on to them to pad out Kill Team a little bit. So I wonder if they're just holding on to Captain and Terminator armor multi-part kit so that they can shove it into a box somewhere. I'm a little bit hoping that that's not the case because I feel like if Terminator Captain is going to be in any box, it's probably going to be in a box with new true scale assault Terminators, which would be awesome. But I'm currently in the process of kit bashing and converting some true scale assault Terminators that are a lot of work. And it would really be lame if Games Workshop just dropped the perfect, awesome kit after I've done all this work. But I actually wouldn't be too upset because I do want a whole bunch of awesome assault Terminators. but it's just very interesting. And it reminds me a lot of, if anybody remembers, February of this year, Strike Force Augustus with the Missile Launcher Marines and the Brutalis Dreadnought. Literally took 8 months for those miniatures that a couple of people were able to buy with Strike Force Augustus, but literally nobody had those models all the way up until like now Warhammer 10th edition, where people could actually play with them. It's absolutely ridiculous how long those models took to actually become available. We here at EonsOfBattle have some Desolation Squad Space Marines, and you better believe we're gonna be trying to make these guys look actually cool, because man, oh man, do those missile launchers look pretty darn rough. But I see it. I see it in my mind's eye how they can be cool. I just have to make them look cool in reality. But you know what always looks cool with absolutely no effort involved? That's right, our Patreon. Over there, we have a brand new STL set every single month. This month, we have Orc Vehicles, including Grot Tanks, Trucks, War Rigs, and Grot Riggers, all for the month of Orktober. We also make extra episodes of Eons of Battle, where we take a look at our viewers' miniatures and give some ideas and critiques of how to improve their painting. And we have a top tier where you can get your name on one of my Black Templars, and you can join the crusade and my never-ending quest to defeat Sean in a game of Warhammer 40k. It has been a very fun week of Warhammer. I got a lot of building and modeling done. Actually, I got a lot of building done, not a lot of modeling done. But now I have to go and open my 40th anniversary Warhammer 40k gift box. Thanks for watching.